Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Lion's Heart. And in this video, I want to speak specifically and directly to young men. And what I want to talk about here is this kind of crisis within masculinity, this crisis of meaning, this crisis of purpose, and just how much we get fed content of what it means to be a man. And, from these pretty toxic role models. And, maybe some of you guys just feel confused, do I have to be like an Andrew Tate or a Dan Blazarian, like these kind of douchebag, egomaniac kind of guys? Like, where's the conscious men? How can I still be like a valued, honest, integrous, kind man, but also still feel like a man and masculine? And there's really this confused notion of what being a man is. Like, you have these guys like Andrew Tate and most of social media kind of saying that being a man is like how many girls you can fuck and how much money you can make and these things. And, what I want to do is to help show you guys that there's another way, and to show you that you can still be very masculine and you can still feel very much like a man while at the same time being conscious and growing yourself and being a loving person. And it doesn't mean you have to turn into some soft, hippie or, some feminine guy. You can be very masculine in that power, in that force, in that drive, and that discipline and structure, and at the same time heal the world and help the world. And I think that is actually what really being a man is about. It's about leading positivity. It's about leading people into healing and life and love and consciousness. So I want to just start with why this crisis in masculinity. And I think it's a lot because the traditional role of what being a man was, this provider of the household, etc., has kind of not totally died out, but it's definitely not what it used to be. Women have got a lot more education. They have a lot more, independence, which is a great thing. But it did cause a lot of destructuring of this kind of image of what a man was, which was, the provider, the bread maker, the protector, etc., which really isn't necessary anymore. Like, women can make their own money. They don't really need like your physical protection so much unless you live in a really rough area. So for the most part, it's not necessary. And I think this has caused a lot of crisis within men where they just feel kind of useless and worthless and confused about what to do. Like, this used to be the purpose of being a man was, you protect the family, you provide for the family. So I think it's a crisis of purpose. And the masculine actually thrives on purpose. The masculine needs a purpose. Your life purpose is your child. It's like, what is your life about? What are you about? What are your values? Where does your time and energy go? And that's literally, your life purpose. That's what you're here to do. That's what you're here for. And it's interesting to note that on 80% of suicide notes or something like that, the two main words for the reason of suicide are worthless and useless. So again, this is just highlighting and emphasizing my point that purpose is a must for a man today. And one of the reasons I want to make this video is because I see so many of these young guys struggling in their early 20s. And that was me. I was that guy. I hated life. I thought life was a curse. I thought I was cursed. I thought, it was bullshit. I wanted to die. I was like super negative, super anxious, super depressed, addicted to porn, all these things. And it was actually in that darkness, it was in that rock bottom that I awoke to, life as a gift. I was reborn spiritually. I was reborn mentally. I saw that, life really is like whatever you want to make it. It's really this golden opportunity. And I don't mean that in the sense of like, any kind of religious thing of like, I was, reborn. It's like truly my ego died and I saw life in a whole new lens. And, I look around and I see these guys today struggling, and I really resonate and I really feel for them, because I think this society and the way we live right now and the social media and the news, it does not help men. It does not promote consciousness. It does not encourage wisdom. It's just kind of like good luck, and it's like a good luck and fuck you a little bit too. So that's who I want to talk to. And, I feel you guys. I feel you guys. I feel your pain. I feel the confusion. I feel the darkness. I feel the fear and the lack of purpose and the negativity. I was there. And I want to tell you that you can get out of it. It takes work. You have to do the work. I can't do it for you. No one can do it for you. You have to want it. but you can get out of it and you can fight this bullshit system and you can become, the man you want to be, no matter what's going on in the world, no matter what kind of crazy bullshit the world is doing or mainstream culture is doing. You take your balls back. You take the reins back as being the man that you want to be. Another thing is you might feel like something's wrong with you. And that was the thing for me. I thought something was wrong with me when in truth, I just couldn't be normal. I couldn't do what they were doing. I didn't find it interesting. I found sports and talking about the weather and all these things people were doing just so boring and pointless and meaningless. And I wrongly thought that life was meaningless, but life is not meaningless. It was just the people I was around, and no grudges against them, no bitterness. I still love them, but I just wasn't fit for that. That's not who I am. That's not what I was about. I want deeper things in my life. I want to touch deeper aspects of life. I want to feel a certain way. And I had to kind of carve that path out for myself. And so if you're one of these guys who's, maybe sensitive or spiritually gifted, I want to tell you that nothing is wrong with you. And in fact, this is a massive gift. And this is something that you can cultivate and grow through. So the first concept that I want to bring to mind here is the concept of your sense of self. So I really want you to get a grasp of what you think you are and who you think you are. And maybe there's a story there. Maybe if you're in a negative place, it's the story of, I'm an anxious person, or I'm weird, or I'm a freak, or I'm not good with girls, or maybe it's not that bad. It's just, oh, I'm fucked up, or something's wrong with me, or I'm awkward or something. And I want you to realize that this is just a thought. These are just stories and a thought. And your sense of self is actually something that was created based on your environment. And because of your environment and the things that happened around you and to you, you kind of cultivated this ego, this sense of self. And what might have helped back when you were a child, like patterns that could have helped, like you telling yourself you're weird so that you don't do that thing that gets you in trouble. Maybe that helped as a child, but now you're an adult and that's still there. And so what you need to realize, what the point of me saying this is, the concept here is that this is illusory. This isn't real in any way. It's not definitive about you. Thinking you're weird with girls, thinking you're awkward, all these things are made up and they're not true. And a good example of this is, like, imagine if you were born into a royal family and you were the same baby body that you are today, but instead of the family you were born into like some royal family, and they treated you like a god, like a king. And you had all the women you wanted, you had all the comforts and all the, everyone showered you with love. And, would you still, if you had that life, would you still have the same insecurities that you do now? Or would you still have the same I'm awkward with girls kind of stories? If you were, getting attention from women as an 8-year-old boy or whatever, from that young, would you still have these stories? And the answer is no, you likely wouldn't. So what the point of this analogy is to show you that these are not real definitive things about yourself. They are stories, they're made up, they're illusory. Yes, they're strong. The survival chains are very strong, but they are illusory and you can rewire them. Your brain is neuroplastic. You can change them. You can change your self-concept. And this is like personal development 101, but it's such an important point to really recognize that these are stories and they're made up and none of it is definitively true about you. Mastering your vision in your life is completely up to you. And it's really not a question of if it's possible, it's whether you want it or not. And you have to do the work. You have to do the hard grinding work. You have to want it. There's people like me. There's tons of different people that, can share personal development information, but it really comes down to you and wanting it. And I want you to look at life as like you're a video game character. Like, it's so exciting when you look at it through the lens of this is a game, this is a play, and you're a video game character. And like, what if you just optimized the fuck out of your character? What if you were just like this badass motherfucker, like financial stability, you were just dope with women, you were like fit, you were like a beast, and you had, like your life purpose down, and you had your diet down, and you had no like negative habits or toxic habits, and like you just killed it. And you just like a martial artist or a ninja, you just like owned your life and you just took it by the balls and you just optimized this character 100%. And that's possible. And that's what I want you guys to do. That's what I want you guys to feel, is that power that you have to, create the video game character that you want to be. You might have an idea of it being like 10 times better than it is now, life being like 10 times better. You got the beautiful woman, you've got your life purpose, you've got your emotions down. But what if it's 1,000 times better? What if it's like so much better that you want to cry every day? Like when you're in that negative, toxic, place, it's hard to see how good things can be. But, you just kind of have to trust the process. And another part of this path is that it's totally up to you. Like you can wake up tomorrow and eat Cheetos and watch porn and, you can do that. No one's got a gun to your head and you're going to live fine. You're going to live and die if you do that. And, or you can get up and work out or like, you're going to die too. So the point is like, it's really 100% up to you. And that's both terrifying and also very empowering. And I want you to see it as empowering. I want you to get this attitude of taking life by the balls and really creating the man that you want to be. So let's dive in. The first thing that you need to cover is your foundation. And I want you to think of yourself as trying to build a mansion, like this giant, you want to build yourself into this mansion. And all you've got is this pile of dirt, right? Where do you start to build this grand mansion? You have to build the foundation.